Hello scholars, welcome. Mr. Hinkle here. We are talking about benthic communities, and today's lecture is going to be about a very unique community that exists in the deep ocean. In the absence of sunlight, yet there are still amazing communities of organisms. Let's talk about it. Deep ocean benthic communities. We'll describe these environments. We'll talk about different examples of the organisms, and then go into hydrothermal vents. So the deep ocean is a very unique environment. Extremely high pressures, there's high oxygen content, there's a thin layer of sediment that's down there, and there's no light, most importantly. So what we know about ecosystems is that the basis of food webs supported by primary producers, plants that reproduce from photosynthesis and feed animals that eat other organisms. Autotrophs support the heterotrophs. But how does this happen in deep ocean environments? Well, there is a unique type of primary productivity called chemosynthesis, which we will get into here in a little bit. So there's special adaptations for deep ocean organisms. There could be many, many types of organisms in the deep environment. It's very understudied because it's hard to get down there. The deep ocean, well, it's deep. The pressure is high. There's no light. It's inhospitable. But what we're learning more and more is that there is a greater amount of life than was once previously thought. So in these deep ocean environments, we have found deep sea corals, that's pretty cool, sponges, sea stars, isopods, amphipods, worms, a whole spectrum of biodiversity living in these deep underwater environments. Specific areas that support deep ocean life are called hydrothermal vents. So a hydrothermal vent looks like this. Near the mid-ocean ridge, where you have magma creating new Earth, that new Earth pushes outward like this. And as it opens up the middle of the oceans, it causes little cracks or faults, and water will make its way through, become superheated, dissolve minerals, and then those minerals will precipitate out, forming these great stacks of deposited material called hydrothermal vents. Now, these vents are releasing, not only are they depositing the minerals, but they're releasing chemicals into the ocean, which act kind of like the kidneys of the ocean, helping to maintain a stable ocean chemistry. That's awesome. But also, they provide a source of food to support the basis of the food web for hydrothermal vent communities. So, a very specific type of organism, archaea, very bacteria-like, use the hydrogen sulfide, so it's a microscopic single-celled organism that uses CO2, hydrogen sulfide, and water to form new organic material. And then that's the basis of the food web. This process, similar to photosynthesis, is called chemosynthesis because chemicals are being used, not sunlight, to reproduce for primary producers. This was discovered in the 70s, so what, just under 50 years ago? The submersible Alvin, cruising around, doing a little bit of oceanic exploration. Previous to this, we thought, nothing can live in the bottom of the ocean. There's no way. There's no light. If there's no light, what could live down there? Nothing. Well, at some point we thought the bottom of the ocean was flat too. That was wrong. So Alvin's cruising around near the Galapagos, and then all of a sudden, boom, stumbles upon a hydrothermal vent. And not only was there a hydrothermal vent, but it was teeming with marine life, deep sea marine life that is pretty extraordinary. So chemosynthesis, this slide is in the wrong spot. It should have been before, but hey, what the heck? Let's talk about it now. Chemosynthesis relative to photosynthesis. Hydrogen sulfide, water, and carbon dioxide with oxygen yields sugar and sulfuric acid. The sulfuric acid is helping to maintain that chemistry. Photosynthesis, hopefully we know this one. Primary production through photosynthesis is sunlight and water with a little CO2, gives us sugar and oxygen. You and I can be thankful for primary producers because we're probably breathing that oxygen right now that's produced by marine life in the ocean. Perfect. So let's go. Alvin discovery. Boom! Giant tube worms, giant clams, mussels, seagrass, giant lobsters and crabs. And it's just amazing. It's just absolutely amazing what exists in these deep sea environments. What else do we got here? We got some clams. We got seagrass. All kinds of critters existing down in these hydrothermal vents. So again, communities in the deep ocean that are eating microscopic archaea that reproduce through the process of chemosynthesis in the absence of sunlight, because these are deep, located all over the world. So not only was this not a unique discovery, but it was found that if we look at the mid-ocean ridge that circles the planet like the seams of a baseball, there are hydrothermal vents all over the deep ocean, all over the world, that support these communities. So the question is now, with these being so far away from each other, because hydrothermal vents are short-lived, they don't exist forever, ocean basins don't exist forever, so how do these communities populate? How do tube worms attached to a hydrothermal vent in one location get to another? One idea is called the dead whale hypothesis, that large carcasses may be stepping stones for the larvae of these organisms. The larvae could drift from site to site in deep ocean currents, but we don't really know. So it's an area of active research how, when new vents pop up, they're populated by these species that we see in vents all over the world. So the vents have a lifespan. They're controlled by the amount of subsurface magma activity. They could be active for a few years to a few decades. When the vent stops producing, there's no more fuel or food to feed the archaea, which can't support the larger organisms, so they end up dying out. And it's possible, frontier of science, that there's more in the deep ocean inside of the rocks than is previously understood. There could be microbes that are living in the pore fluids within the rocks inside of our Earth, and that these rocks may hold keys to the beginning of life as we know it. So the deep ocean is an awesome, awesome area. It's a frontier science in oceanography where we have unique communities of organisms that exist that survive in ways that are foreign and unknown to us here in sun-rich environments. Thank you so much, and I'll see you again.